A new wave is rising, a wave of purpose, performance and progress. Led by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia and championed by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, the nation is embarking on a transformative journey. 100 days of productivity activism. This is not just a campaign, it is a movement, a call to every citizen, every worker, every leader to rise, to act and to deliver. Productivity is the heartbeat of development. Join the movement, be the change, drive the productivity revolution. 100 days of productivity activism. Together, we improve productivity for a better Zambia. This message was brought to you by the National Productivity Development Department. From the heart of Lusaka to the furthest corners of our great nation, a new wave is rising, a wave of purpose, performance and progress. Led by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia and championed by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, the nation is embarking on a transformative journey. 100 days of productivity activism. This is not just a campaign, it is a movement, a call to every citizen, every worker, every leader to rise, to act and to deliver. Productivity is the heartbeat of development. Join the movement, be the change, drive the productivity revolution. 100 days of productivity activism. Together, we improve productivity for a better Zambia. This message was brought to you by the National Productivity Development Department. From the heart of Lusaka to the furthest corners of our great nation, a new wave is rising, a wave of purpose, performance and progress. Led by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia and championed by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, the nation is embarking on a transformative journey. 100 days of productivity activism. This is not just a campaign, it is a movement, a call to every citizen, every worker, every leader to rise, to act and to deliver. Productivity is the heartbeat of development. Join the movement, be the change, drive the productivity revolution. 100 days of productivity activism. Together, we improve productivity for a better Zambia. This message was brought to you by the National Productivity Development Department. From the heart of Lusaka to the furthest corners of our great nation, a new wave is rising, a wave of purpose, performance and progress. Led by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia and championed by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, the nation is embarking on a transformative journey. 100 days of productivity activism. This is not just a campaign, it is a movement, a call to every citizen, every worker, every leader to rise, to act and to deliver. Productivity is the heartbeat of development. Join the movement, be the change, drive the productivity revolution. 100 days of productivity activism. Together, we improve productivity for a better Zambia. This message was brought to you by the National Productivity Development Department. From the heart of Lusaka to the furthest corners of our great nation, a new wave is rising, a wave of purpose, performance and progress. Led by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia and championed by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, the nation is embarking on a transformative journey. 100 days of productivity activism. This is not just a campaign, it is a movement, a call to every citizen, every worker, every leader to rise, to act and to deliver. Productivity is the heartbeat of development. Join the movement, be the change, drive the productivity revolution. 100 days of productivity activism. Together, we improve productivity for a better Zambia. This message was brought to you by the National Productivity Development Department. From the heart of Lusaka to the furthest corners of our great nation, a new wave is rising, a wave of purpose, performance, and progress. Led by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia and championed by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, the nation is embarking on a transformative journey. 100 days of productivity activism. This is not just a campaign, it is a movement, a call to every citizen, every worker, every leader to rise, to act, and to deliver. Productivity is the heartbeat of development. Join the movement. Be the change. Drive the productivity revolution. 100 days of productivity activism. Together, we improve productivity for a better Zambia.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are joining us from. A very warm welcome to the National Productivity Development Department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security here in Lusaka, Zambia. I am your host of this program, Yvonne Kanenga Nawila, Chief Productivity and Quality Improvement Officer. I am glad that you have taken time to join us on this very important show and deliberating on a very, very important subject being brought up by our expert, Dr. Pastor Gift Mwemba this morning. I'm sure you will find this session very, very interesting. Last week, we did feature Dr. Aaron Mujajati, who was looking at the issue of work-life balance. In our discussion in our last episode, Dr. Mujajati did highlight to us the importance of maintaining our work-life balance in terms of our well-being and the activities that we do. We all have 99 jobs, you can trust me. But how do we ensure that these 99 jobs we have is well catered for and everybody else is satisfied? It is a big challenge that we all face, and Dr. Mjajati did challenge us in terms of how we can plan and prepare for our work life so that we're able to live normal lives and not burn out. So today we are picking up from there. We'll be looking at work ethics. So what systems do we need to put in place at our workplace so that we don't encounter this burnout? We'll look at different practices that we can employ so that we could be able to just manage ourselves in our various workplaces. And so before I even introduce our guest that we have this morning, I really want to just highlight a few of the developments that we are scoring or we have scored under the Ministry of Labor and the National Productivity Development Department. It has become very clear that the issue of productivity is a topical issue and it's an issue of concern in the country. In terms of our definition of productivity, it's about optimal utilization of resources, it's about being efficient, it's about being effective, it's about continuous improvement. Our statistics on productivity has shown a decline in terms of labor productivity, which is a very key indicator in terms of productivity growth. In Zambia, as you may be aware, from the International Labour Organization point of view, labor productivity in Zambia sits at 5.2 international dollars per hour of work, in comparison to other countries such as Botswana, South Africa, Mauritius, that are above 20 international dollars, getting or measuring the same parameters. So this is a concern. Last week or last month, we kept on talking about the productive culture in Zambia, and we did mention that the rate at which poverty is increasing amid these resources being provided to majority of the citizens is also quite worrying. So how then do we begin to arrest this unproductive culture? So the Ministry of Labor is doing quite a number of activities that are being brought to you, to the nation, so we can motivate each other in line with the National Productivity Policy that aims at motivating everyone, individuals, institutions, to work in a concerted manner to raise the levels of productivity. And on Thursday this week, we will be launching 100 days of productivity activism. This is 100 days dedicated to bringing out productivity issues and finding solutions that are going to resolve the productivity issues. This launch will take place at NIPA. We'll start with a march past with the Minister of Labor and Social Security, Honorable Brenda Mwikatambatamba, who will flag off the march past at 8:30 at the Freedom Statue, and then we'll proceed to NIPA for the official ceremony. So as you participate in this program, be thinking of how you can contribute to these 100 days in terms of resolving problems, in terms of sharing ideas on what we can do to raise the productivity levels. And so you are all very very much welcome to participate in this program. Should you want more details, please, you can call me on 0977 11 24 31. 0977 11 24 31. And just before I introduce my guest, I will play again the promotional video to just ensure that we all are well braced and aligned to the productivity days of activism. It's just a very short video, then I will introduce the guest and get into the usual program.
Productivity Development Department. From the heart of Lusaka to the furthest corners of our great nation, a new wave is rising. A wave of purpose, performance, and progress. Led by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia and championed by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, the nation is embarking on a transformative journey. 100 days of productivity activism. This is not just a campaign, it is a movement, a call to every citizen, every worker, every leader to rise, to act, and to deliver. Productivity is the heartbeat of development. Join the movement. Be the change. Drive the productivity revolution. 100 days of productivity activism. Together, we improve productivity for a better Zambia. This message was brought to you by the National Productivity Development Department.
Thank you very much. I hope you found that program very, very useful. I don't know what has happened to my... Doc, are you able to see me? Good morning, Doc. Good morning, Doc. Good morning. Good morning, Doc. Are you able to get me? Good morning, Doc. Are you able to get me?
Can they hear me these days?
Can you hear me?
Can't hear anything.
Doc, can you hear me? Hello, Doc, can you hear me? Hello, Doc, are you able to hear me? The participants can hear me, Doc, you cannot hear me? Sincere apologies. I don't know why Doc is not able to hear me, so just a minute. Doc, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, let me just just a second.
Out of Lusaka to the furthest corners of our great nation, a new wave is rising, a wave of purpose, performance, and progress. Led by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia and championed by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, the nation is embarking on a transformative journey. 100 days of productivity activism. This is not just a campaign, it is a movement, a call to every citizen, every worker, every leader to rise, to act, and to deliver. Productivity is the heartbeat of development. Join the movement. Be the change. Drive the productivity revolution. 100 days of productivity activism. Together, we improve productivity for a better Zambia. This message was brought to you by the National Productivity Development Department.
Good morning, Doc, once more.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. I was getting worried.
No, don't worry. Are you able to see me that side?
Yes, I'm able to see you.
Okay, I'm ready. I have kind of put a screen, but I'm not gonna share it with the rest. I just wanna use it as I talk. If they can see me, it's fine. Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much, our participants. Apologies for the lapse in terms of our technical issues. So this morning, I am privileged to introduce to you Dr. Gift Mwemba, who is the speaker for the V1 Motivation. Will be able to talk to us about it, coaching and corporate training. He also runs the Dream Drive Ignite with Education program. He is the CEO of Life Gearing and Coaching Limited and V1 Enterprise Limited. He holds a PhD in Old Testament theology from the University of South Africa, BA in theology at Andrews University in Zimbabwe. He has an undergraduate in psychology at UNISA, University of South Africa. He served as managing and publishing director of Home Health Education Service of the Southern African Union of the Seventh-day Adventists, based in Bloemfontein, South Africa. The organization has branches in South Africa, Lesotho, Namibia, and Kingdom of Eswatini. He's spoken at Business and Entrepreneurship Convention in South Africa, Zambia, Namibia, Eswatini, and Zimbabwe. Dr. Mwemba has spoken at the Free State Department of Education's Men's Wellness, Free State Legislation, Free State Home Affairs Wellness. Dr. Mwemba has done skills audit and business training for women in mining in Karumana, South Africa. He is a member of the Institute of Directors here in Zambia and has facilitated the corporate governance training for Smart Zambia and corporate governance training for the University of Zambia and School of Health Sciences. He's passionate about organizational climate management for performance, shared vision, work ethic, corporate governance, and developing excellent individuals. So his slogan is, "You happen, it happens. You don't happen, it doesn't happen." He is the author of Start Happening, Mechanics of Manhood, The Happening Woman, The Happening Man. And actually, I can confirm that I've actually a happening woman because of his mentorship. I also been reading his book, The Happening Woman, and I've actually benefited quite a lot. So from the wealth of experience that comes with Dr. Mwemba, who is also a retired pastor, I must mention, it's very humbling for us from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. He's actually our nominated ambassador from the National Productivity Development Department. Please allow me bring on this stage Dr. Mwemba and allow him to speak to us this morning. So to participate in this program, we have the chat box. You can send your message or your question on this chat box, so that after we are done or he's done with the presentation, he will be able to address. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube page, please do so and like the page on our Facebook page, also the National Productivity Development Department Facebook page and the Ministry of Labor Facebook page. You should also click the notification button so that every time we go live, you'll be able to join us. So, Dr. Mwemba, welcome to this Productivity Z360, an expert talk, that expert platform that will provide experts to bring out issues that pertain to productivity. We are glad that you took time in your busy schedule to be with us this morning. So the floor is all yours.
All right, thank you, Yvonne, and thank you to the participants in this presentation. I feel honored to be part of it. Yes, I'm passionate about productivity and I'm passionate about the work ethic. I will focus this morning on work ethic. Now, Yvonne, you remember in our discussion, you gave me an orientation into productivity. So I did sit down and coin it, you know, in my own language to blend it with my my philosophy of life. And this is how I blended it. Yeah, I blended it. Can I give my brief definition of productivity?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I blended it like this. And I said, productivity is the act of transforming natural and artificial resources into products and services that meet the needs of the Zambian citizens and the world at large at the time of need, in the quality and the quantity they are needed. That's how I put it down. Productivity is the act of transforming natural and artificial resources into products and services that meet the needs of the Zambian citizens and the world at large at the time of need, in the quality and the quantity they are needed. I added a few things there in terms of the time of need, the quality, and the quantity. I put those together, of course, having extracted some from the definition that I was oriented in. You can be productive, but you can be inferiorly productive. You know, that's why even in the competitive world, certain countries will buy certain products from other countries and not the others. In fact, if you have read the book, The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith, one of the first economists, when he discusses labor, he says the wealth of the nation is tied directly to the quality of labor. And then he talks about education. He says the more educated the labor is, the more sophisticated the products are, and the more competitive they are in the world market. And so when we talk about productivity, we are talking about the production of products and services that will meet the needs of the user at the time they are needed. There's one thing that is important we need to take into account, that every nation is actually endowed with natural resources which each nation can actually transform into the products and services that they need. Every nation is endowed with that. So now you find that worldwide we have nations that are more productive, nations that are less productive. Let me give, for example, China. China is technically the world's factory. That's where production takes place. The world's factory. And so, as I continue, productivity is actually motivated by three factors. An individual, for them to be productive, they need to have these factors in themselves. Factor number one, an individual should have a sense of belonging. An employee or a citizen will not be productive either in a corporation or in the country or in the civil service if they don't have a sense of belonging. A sense of belonging is a big driving factor when it comes to productivity. A sense of belonging. Number two, a sense of mission. A citizen and an individual, whether an employee, must be clear as to what the mission of the nation and the country or the corporation or the company is. Very clear. Then there'll be productivity. The third one is a sense of duty. What I mean by a sense of duty is that the person, in order to be productive, must have this sense of duty in themselves. They must feel uncomfortable if they think they are being idle. There must be a sense. So I'm talking about three factors that actually motivate and influence productivity. A sense of belonging. When a person has a sense of belonging, first of all, they'll take care of the assets or the tools that are used in that production. That's a sense of, because they own that. It's ours, it's mine, it's ours. And then the sense of mission is to say, yes, we are here for a purpose, for a mission to achieve. And the third one is a sense of duty, simply meaning a person will perform whether in the presence of the supervisor or without a supervisor. Let me transit to the other parts of productivity. Productivity needs what I call an active ingredient. Active ingredient. When you buy Panadol and you have a headache, in those old days we used to buy Cafino. You buy that. It's white. It used to be white or green. It is not that white thing that manages your headache or cures your headache. No. Inside there is what they call the active ingredient or the healing agent. So productivity needs an active ingredient. The AI of productivity is you, the individual. Very important to know that I am responsible. So for productivity Zambia, for us to be productive and make Zambia productive as a nation, we need to have this mindset that when we talk about productivity, the active ingredient, it's me, the individual. Also important to productivity is what we call DRI. DRI simply means directly responsible individual. This talks about personal responsibility and accountability. Why are you a DRI? Because it matters. Now, an experiment was done to check the productivity of employees in a particular company. So they brought incentives, which is very common. Sometimes when we want people to be productive, we bring in incentives. So they brought incentives and they separated two groups. One group, they say to them, if you finish this task within 3 hours, you're going to get so much. To the other group, they said, they explained why this must be done. So to the other group, they gave money, financial incentive, monetary incentive. To the other group, they gave the reason why it must be done. And then they observed these people working. They found that the people that were promised financial benefit quickly did the job and finished on time. And as soon as they finished, they downed their tools, they walked away. They got their money. But these who were given the reason why it must be done actually worked overtime. Why? Because it matters. It is important. It matters. So productivity also requires one to be a DRI, directly responsible individual, because it matters. It matters to the family. It matters to me as an individual. It matters to the country. It matters to the session, to the nation rather. Then the other part is productivity has outcomes and objectives. But here I want to say one of the ultimate products of productivity is the individual. You know, someone said the reward a person gets from what they do is not the money they earn, but what they become by doing it. So a person, a productive person who has a very good work ethic, ultimately becomes better at what they are doing. And as they become better at what they are doing, they form a network. And when they have a network, they get resources. When they have resources, they have a reputation. So they are sought after. Let me break it down. Let me bring it at country level. There are certain countries that have a reputation of productivity. That's why When you are looking for a product, you go on the internet and you check for the suppliers. Before you place the order, what comes into your mind? What comes into your mind is the ability of the supplier to supply the product. But behind that, actually, is the work ethic of that country. There are certain countries where we know if you order a product, it will be inferior. It will not be the right product. It will not come on time. All that feeds into Adam Smith's statement that the wealth of a nation is directly tied to the labor of its human resource. Work ethic or productivity comes to two words. I once watched two gentlemen discussing, it was an interview, and they were discussing why should government be efficient? Why should the government be efficient? And the answer was efficiency and productivity comes to two words. One, competence and care. Competence and care. Productivity requires competence. Only when you are competent in what you do can you produce quality products, quality services. And when you are competent in your quality products and quality services, then you generate enough income to actually care. In every country, we talk of social services. Every country tries its best to export more than it imports. Why? Because when you export more, you earn more revenue. What does that mean? It means that revenue you earn, you are able to develop your country infrastructurally, and you are able to fund social services like education, like health. So all these things are tied to productivity. What am I saying? I am saying when a Zambian citizen wakes up to go to work, Zambian citizen must have the bigger picture that what you are actually doing plays a big role in the national productivity of Zambia. Zambia's competence, Zambia's care. Why productivity? Productivity is the conveyor belt out of poverty. We all want our nations to live above the poverty datum line. Now, as you know, when they go to Davos, the economic forum, whenever Africa is discussed, the issue is 60%, in some countries, even 70% of their population, they live below the poverty datum line. The question is, why? Do they have resources? Yes, they have resources. Do they have humans? They have humans. What is the relationship between the resources and human capital? If that relationship is not good, a country is poor. But if the human capital has a good work ethic, they will transform the natural and artificial resources into products and services that will be part of the wealth of the nation. So productivity is actually a human right. Productivity is a conveyor belt out of poverty. Productivity is the means to rise above the poverty datum line. Now, let me zero in onto work ethic. Work ethic. Work ethic simply means how an individual views work. Some individuals view work as labor. Others view work as an assignment, as a task. But in reality, work is not only a means of production, it is an identity builder. Work gives self-esteem. But before I go there deeply, let me say, work ethic is when an individual has a sense of conscientiousness. Conscientiousness simply means this person rejoices in performing a task, or this person derives a good feeling after completing a task. That is a good work ethic. It is not a question of what the boss will say, what the supervisor will say, but it's a question of saying, I have done it well, I have done it excellently. That is a conscientiousness. It is when a worker goes to work to perform, because what they have done will actually carry their name. That's a work ethic. Now, for work ethic to take place, there is one aspect that is also important to take into account. There is what we call business hours and man hours. Business hours and man hours. If you are going to do a monitoring and evaluation and interview people or do performance management and check how many actual hours a person puts in the work. Let me give a good example. When you go to a company or a shop, they will say business hours. They will say from 8 to 17 hours, Monday to Friday, and then they will say Saturday from what to what. Those are business hours. But once a person has clocked in on the company premises, they are at work. Okay, those are business hours. But the question is, does the person have the work ethic to actually put the actual man hours into the work? Just a brief illustration. One man owned a ginnery. He owned a ginnery and was manufacturing, processing cotton, removing the seeds and packing it into bales and exporting it. But his production dropped, or rather productivity. It dropped from, he used to do 9 bales a day, but now he dropped it to 3. But the workers wanted a pay rise. They wanted a pay rise. And so they demanded. So the man struggled and the labor unions came in and things like that, until the boss from the Ministry of Labor in that particular country, which I want to mention, actually decided to go to that company and talk to the boss. So he said to him, listen, increase the salaries. So the boss says, no, but I don't have the money. You know, this is a company. I pay from what I sell. He says, no, just increase the salaries. I'm going to talk to the guys. So fine. On your word, he increased the salaries and the workers were called together in a meeting. Your salaries have been increased. So the gentleman from the Ministry of Labor said to them, he told the boss to leave. He says, you can leave the room. So he left the room. And it says, listen, I know your work ethic. I know how you work. I know you clock on time. You knock off on time. Sometimes, even knock off before time. You know how people behave. They come late to work, but they'll go 15 minutes before knock off time. So he says, I know you. I know your behavior. So let's make a deal. Your salaries have been increased on condition. He says, when you come tomorrow to work, I want you to put the actual man hours. Change your work ethic. derive pleasure and satisfaction from performance? Do we have a deal? They said, we have a deal. The following morning, the workers came into that ginnery, and the boss was in his office. Hey, a few hours later, he heard the factory. He heard the factory. He heard the sound of the machines, and he wondered what's happening. So he took a walk to the factory, and he found every man on his station busy. Every man busy. Because that labor commissioner told them to say, I know you guys, when you go for a toilet break, you spend 30 minutes there. He says, no more of that. When the boss walked into the factory, he found everybody busy. And he wondered, what did he tell them? By the end of the day, guess what? The productivity of the company, the ginnery, shot up from 3 bales to 9 bales. He was back into action, back into business. He was able to pay the salaries as the deal was made. So, where a person knows I'm directly responsible to produce because it matters, where a person has this work ethic where productivity and work is normative, it's a normal behavior, that person is actually a conscientious person. Is a conscientious person. So work ethic is when a person derives the satisfaction from performance at work. And this is the culture which in the Ministry of Labor, we should inculcate into individuals, employees, civil servants, and business owners. A work ethic. Derive pleasure and satisfaction from performance, from work. When we do training in companies, that's the culture we instill. To say, when you wake up from home and you're going to work, when you knock off, you should have that feeling that I did it the right way, I did it the way it was supposed to be done. So one of the things that I may just mention is that, have you noticed that some of the investors come with their own labor? I lived in a foreign country, which I won't mention, where the investors had constant fights with the local workers. And the issue, when the Ministry of Labor intervened and the matters were being arbitrated, the investors complained to us, your people have a poor work ethic. They clock on time, they are at work, but really the output is not satisfactory. The output is not satisfactory. So I'm saying one of the reasons why investors will come with their own labor sometimes, it's because of what they perceive as a poor work ethic. A poor work ethic. I think let me pause here for now. And wait for a discussion. Let me not be too long. Thank you. Yvonne, over to you.
Thank you very much, Doc, for the powerful insights that you have given to us. Everybody's just agreeing with you and enjoying the discussion. You've brought up very, very important factors that we can use to build a work ethic that is going to lead us to productivity growth. Our participants, we are discussing work ethic or building work ethics that actually contribute to productivity growth. And I think Doc has been very clear with highlighting the most valuable ingredient, who is yourself and me. As individuals, we are actually very active ingredient in pushing for this work ethic and in pushing for this culture of productivity, a sense of belonging, a sense of mission, very, very clear mission and a sense of duty. As you are talking, Doc, it brought me thinking that when a person, sorry, I was cut out. So are they oriented into understanding this culture at this particular workplace? What do you know about your workplace? Do you understand the reason the organization you're working for exists? Do you understand the duty you're supposed to do? So it made me thinking that I think leadership also has a very much to do with ensuring that before the employees settle down on the job, they make it very, very clear what the organization is all about, the vision of the leadership as well as the vision of that particular organization. And then it will just make people get settled into this. I've seen people go for work, Doc, without a job description. People are just reporting for work. I don't know if everybody now has become a general worker. You know, you report for work, you do this, do that. I don't like general working. I like to work, obviously, in a space where I know what I'm doing and how I'm going to contribute. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't be able to do other things that are beyond my job description. So from your experience, probably you can share more highlights on how a workplace can be designed to ensure that people or employees have a sense of belonging, they have a sense of mission, and they have a sense of duty. Or they become, like you have put it, DRI, I love the concept, directory responsible individuals. So how then can you bring this? Because in productivity, we believe that nothing happens by default. So how then can we create this kind of environment? What could be the role of leadership in trying to create this environment where we have people who are genuinely responsible or who will get accustomed to the three factors that you alluded to?
Okay, I think, should I respond, Yvonne?
Yes, 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 Doc.
Yes. Yeah, you see, people are naturally motivated. People, everyone is motivated. Everyone wants to do something because everyone enjoys being rewarded or being applauded. It's human nature. We all love to hear the words, well done. We all love that. So I'm saying everyone is naturally motivated, but what sometimes misses from employers or from leaders is what we call soft skills. Soft skills. Many companies use humans or labor capital or human capital as they use them as tools. A person does not like feeling like a tool, equipment. We all want to preserve that human dignity. So one of the most
Have I been booted out? Sorry about that. Doc has just been booted out. I think it's an issue of connectivity. So to those of us that have been following this very, very interesting discussion, we're talking about work ethic as or building work ethics that actually contribute to productivity growth. And Doc has highlighted quite a number of issues. And he was just at a point of explaining this kind of environment, which is supportive of this kind of good work ethic. In his discussion, he actually did allude to the fact that in many countries, investors are complaining about the work culture. I think so it is with the Zambian workforce. We've seen a lot of foreign investors seemingly abusing the Zambian workforce. But when you get indeed to the root cause of this so-called abuse, you find that the key issue has been our work ethics. Zambians are known to give quite a lot of the excuses in terms of why they have to abscond work. Zambians want to do things at their own time. I know from the study that Doc did share with us, the issue of money is a motivating factor. But from my work experience, I have learned that even when you put in so much, you find that you're able to grow the money, and the productivity gains out of your labor, out of your hard work, does actually pay or get back to you. But from our Zambian workforce, our experience and the complaint from the investors truly has been that most of the Zambians just want to get paid. Look forward to the pay date, get the money, drink the money out, and then return again to work, which has been a very problematic issue in terms of the Zambian workforce. So in as much as we want, as long as we don't want to be abused at the place of work from the so-called investors, we must portray this kind of hard work culture in terms of contributing to the mission organization of that particular enterprise. Doc, before you were booted out, after you were booted out, I was just trying to highlight one of the key issues that you brought out, the issue of poor work culture amongst most of Africans and Zambians in particular that make the investors to complain. We are obviously running out of our scheduled time, but Doc, I want you to give your last use in these 5 minutes that we are remaining with. I haven't received any question. I'm just getting people to say it's a very good, interesting presentation and very insightful. So I'd like to give you this final opportunity in the last 5 minutes to give us the rest of the information that you had prepared for our participants, and then we can wrap it up that way.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you once more for the platform. I think, you know, each country or each nation has a reputation. Each country or each nation has a reputation. Let me give an example. Most of the people, or let me put it this way, in 2005, I went to the US and I went to Michigan. And I have a relative there. And she said to me, please come with me. I'm going to look for a job. And I said, but she said, I'm going for an interview. I said, but you already have a job. She says, no, I need 2 jobs. If possible, 3. I said, but why? In Zambia, we have 1 job. How do you do it? She says, no, it's possible. And I saw her do this work nicely on time, you know, and go to the other one. And going to her home, prosperous, 3 cars, everything that is needed in the house. So I came back while I was still working in South Africa. I came back and I put my team. I had a team of 16 directors and about a team of 16 directors and 400 salespeople. So I put them together. I called a convention or a conference, And I told them a story to say, you know what I've discovered? I've discovered that the difference between the worker within the country and the worker who goes abroad is actually the work ethic. It's just the work ethic. It is the same person who has less in their homeland who accumulates more in the foreign country where they have gone to work. What's the difference? The difference is this. When you go to other countries, you find a different work culture, or rather work ethic. To be indolent or disorganized, you become the abnormal one. The abnormal one. And so they suddenly wake up, they join that work culture or work ethic, and they are prosperous. It is not because they have learned more, they have been educated more. No, no, no. They've just changed their attitude to work. They have come to understand, according to my slogan, you happen, it happens. So I'm saying to my fellow Zambians, as I said to myself, let's happen. Let's happen. Life is not a spectator sport, or rather work is not a spectator sport. You cannot sit on the bench and watch others working. No, work has no substitute. It's not like soccer where you substitute and you no. You do it. You happen, it happens. So if we as Zambians embrace a work ethic of productivity, we will transform this country if we start happening. And if we spread this culture, the mindset of happening, the mindset of productivity, this country can shoot way above the poverty datum line and improve our GDP, which improves our per capita. We are a hardworking people. We are favored by natural resources. We are favored by a powerful climate. And we are favored by a democracy. So, my last words will be the DRI, direct responsible individual. Be the AI, the active ingredient. Have a sense of belonging, have a sense of mission, have a sense of duty. Put these together. You will be part of the bearing in the conveyor belt out of poverty. Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you very much, Doc, for this very well elaborated discussion on work ethic. Indeed, be the AI, active ingredient. No one is going to do it for you. If you want to happen, happen. If you don't want to happen, you remain outside. So Doc has just motivated all of us to be champions in the league or to be part and parcel of the league. The president has been saying Zambia is back in the Champions League. And being back means being an AI. It means being a DRI. It means having a sense of belonging for this particular country. This is Zambia, our country. It means understanding the vision of wanting Zambia to be a middle and prosperous nation by 2030 with few years. It means being able to have a sense of duty, knowing why you and I exist. It's been a very, very wonderful discussion. I hope you have benefited. Until next month, when we feature another expert in productivity, I wish you a pleasant day. So I wish you a blessed day. I wish you all the best, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow during the launch, as well as participating in the 100 days of productivity activism. If you don't happen, no one is going to happen, and the nation will not happen. God bless you, and goodbye.